So what would happen if I decided to crash my drone into the side of a building somewhere, or fly in controlled airspace without a Lance authorization? Or even the worst case thing you can possibly do, fly over a crowd of people or a protest and nobody gets hurt? What would happen to me? Well, chances are I would be fined $1,500 per incident, maybe even more by the FAA. But if I owned a manned aircraft and I crashed it intentionally for views so I can grow as a creator, what's the worst that would happen to me? Turns out all you'll do is lose your pilot certification. And today we're talking about the Trevor Jacob situation and why you, as a manned aircraft pilot or a remote pilot, should be angered by the FAA's decision. Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? I just took a DNA test and it turns out I'm 100% that prick. You're watching OriginaldoBo, and today we're talking about Trevor Jacob. So if you're unfamiliar with this situation, Trevor Jacob is an American snowboarder who competed in the Winter Olympics back in 2014. He didn't win any medals or anything like that. Came close, almost won a bronze. He almost had it, but lost. He's also been part of the Nitro Circus from Travis Pastrana. Maybe not anymore since this whole situation went down. But back in November 24th, 2021, Trevor Jacob sent out on a bit of a mission to spread his friend's ashes. What a good guy. Spread his friend's ashes out over the California landscape. It was a remote location, and he was flying in his Taylorcraft BL-65, which is a very small plane. It's a plane that costs roughly about $13,000, maybe a little bit more depending on how it was purchased. But he took out and he had an engine failure. Oh my gosh, he had an engine failure. What do you do? Well, luckily for Trevor, he already had his parachute on, because I know every time I get on a Delta flight or I'm flying Spirit, I have a parachute on every single time. So good on you for being prepared. He also had his door open. How great. I mean, come on. When I'm driving and I know my car is about to crash, I want to have that door open so it can make it easier for me to get out of that situation. He already had his door open. And he decided he was going to leap out of this plane instead of relying on the glide slope to safely land this aircraft at multiple locations that the FAA did point out that he could have made it to, but he did not. He decided that the best course of action is to crash that plane, which he probably had insurance on, crash that plane, let it crash, land. And also, you know what? Every time I am flying, I also have multiple 360 cameras on, everywhere, because you got to have 360 cameras. And he also made it a point to recover the carnage of the crash himself without having any investigation done, and to film a video of the whole situation and then basically put it out there. Oh, wait, but there's more. But we'll talk about that here in a minute. So that's Trevor Jacob. There's a whole video down below. I mean, if you want to check it out, but I can't see giving him any more airtime. But we have to discuss the fine, the reason, the lack of fine, I should say, what the FAA has determined crashing your aircraft in the United States intentionally should levy. And you know what that penalty is? It's a loss of your certification for up to 1 year. He cannot reapply for up to a year, which is insane at the fact that he can even reapply. No fine, no jail time, nothing. Here in the United States, you can crash your manned aircraft intentionally and basically get nothing but a slap on the wrist. So if we put it in this perspective, Trevor Jacob's YouTube channel has 135,000 subscribers. That video has amassed 2.5 million views, and that's roughly netted him, if we had to look, about $9,200. Now, if he did insure that plane was going to be fully covered, unless if the insurance company too also thought, well, wait a second, you did this intentionally and we're not going to cover that, which unlikely that they did. So he's made anywhere from $1,200 to $9,200. I can tell you on a $400,000 video, I've made about $2,800. So you do the math, take 400,000 times that by, let's say, 4 or so, and maybe a little bit more. And he's probably made about 10,000, maybe a little bit more off that video. Not only that, he's gained a tremendous amount of subscribers from that video at that time. Now, he may have dropped off, but it's definitely put him into the limelight. And what have we learned? That any publicity is good publicity. And that is exactly what this douchebag is doing with this video, because obviously here I am also talking about him. But it just goes to show you that there's sort of an inequality when it comes to fines. From remote pilot to manned pilot, it's the worst that will happen to you is the fact that you're going to lose your license. Now, this person was so unremorseful, he made a video as well talking about the FAA revoking his license inside of an airplane. Now, he was not piloting this aircraft. He was only a passenger in this, but he's pictured putting his pilot certification into an envelope because he's going to send it back to the FAA. Now, personally, and I think a lot of people would probably agree, there should have been financial fines levied against him. If you are going to fine people for a hell of a lot less, he should be fined for this. He crashed into a remote location in California. Upon this crash, there could have been a fire that could have spread quickly. California is a very dry state. In this area he crashed is a dry location. God forbid that the plane would have burst into flames. That could have ended badly. These are all things that he did not factor. As soon as he left that aircraft was on its own to descend and crash in a location where he necessarily could not predict. Totally irresponsible. And the fact that the FAA is only revoking his license isn't enough, unfortunately. Here in the United States, if you intentionally crash an aircraft, you should face jail time. I'm sorry. After 9/11, if you crash an aircraft, or even before, it should have always been, if you do something like this intentionally, your ass should be swinging. You should be in jail, Trevor. Unfortunately, you are a complete dumbass and you don't represent the entire pilot base, because every time I get on an aircraft, I have confidence that my pilot is going to make the best decision to always make sure that we land. Me personally, I have a fear of flying. I do. I have no problem admitting that. I hate getting on a plane. And when I see dumbasses like this, it makes me question the competency of the people regulating this industry. How does somebody like this get away with such a minimalistic fine? Like Trevor is just now making a video, getting even more views, plugging his shitty merch, mocking you, the FAA. He's literally mocking you with his shirt. You all should find the living fuck out of him. You should shove that bar of soap so far up his ass that he can't see the light of day. He's going to be like soap, like zestfully clean.
You're not fully clean unless you're zestfully clean.
Just taking somebody's license that doesn't give a shit. He's not going to go buy another plane. Mission accomplished. He got the views. He got the money. He got the subscribers. Fine his ass. Fine him. And if you do not have the capacity to fine him, let the NTSB fine him. Let the Department of Justice fine him or levy something more severe. But this cannot be the way it goes. This just can't be the way it goes. You can't just let this guy get off with a slap, because now you're basically making incidents like this okay for the rest of the industry, which is complete and utter bullshit. If you're going to fine remote pilots for a hell of a lot less with a 900-gram drone, you need to find people that are capable of doing way more severe damage, regardless of if he was in a remote location. Fuck that. That doesn't matter. He needs to be fined. He showed no remorse. He doesn't give a shit he's losing his license. And you made it to where he could reapply. He said that clearly. He could reapply. What the freaking fuck? People need to know that you just can't do this for financial gain. That's the problem with the internet today. We can do things, create this hype, get the views, make money, and then take that little slap on the wrist. It's not fair. And it's not fair to the safety of the industry, and it's not fair to the millions of pilots out there in the world that put in the time and respect the industry. So in closing, fuck you, Trevor. Fuck you. From the bottom of the hearts of every great pilot out there, go fuck yourself. Stay original.
I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message, homie, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put out their egos in check.